As we near the end of 2018, I'm looking over some of the files of sessions that I recorded that haven't quite made their way onto the podcast quite yet. Today's episode was actually recorded as a video episode, but unfortunately there were some issues with the video quality during editing, so sit back and enjoy the audio, formerly video, podcast of myself interviewing Mike Burkhart at VMworld 2018. Hello and welcome to a special edition of the Explore VM podcast. This one is actually video, and as you can see behind me, we are live on location. I guess it's not live, we're recording, this will be edited.
It's live right now.
It's live right now. But we are on location at VMworld 2018 at Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas, Nevada. So I've got a guest with me. Mike, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Mike Burkhart. I'm a staff solutions architect at VMware, local Detroit VMUG leader, and avid podcast joiner and V-community member.
Excellent.
Thanks for having me, Paul.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for joining. Mm-hmm. So we had several major, some major, some not major announcements this past week. This is the end of Tuesday, so we're about halfway through the conference. So we had what? We had vSphere on ARM announced, RDS, Amazon RDS on premises on VMware.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for premises.
Yeah, always premises. Premises, all the things. vSphere Platinum was announced, Cloud Foundation, Cloud Health, the acquisition of Cloud Health, and a few other things like Project Dimension and Project Magna. Why don't you go ahead and chat about a few of these projects or these new features?
So the first thing I think is really interesting. So kind of bouncing around, Project Dimension. So first off, we saw that automation is very large in the industry. Really, if you look at what we do as far as infrastructure and cloud are considered, we see the need for automating a lot of the mundane tasks, et cetera. And it started out with just being things like, Pixie booting, kickstarting automated installs of insert operating system here.
Right.
VMware has introduced automation, not only vRealize Orchestrator, but vRealize Automation, many other places as well in our products. So, Update Manager even is an automated update facility. So now we got Project Dimension, which is automating the delivery of an SDDC stack to as an appliance to on-prem. So whether it's Robo, branch office, or even in the data center, you will have a node that is delivered fully prepared to have not only virtualized storage, but virtualized network and hypervisor, of course, having some automation tools wrapped around that and management. So those of you that are familiar, this is fully integrated vCloud Foundation, VCF, delivered as a service. Wherever that node may go, so shall that SDDC. So it's going to have the same look and feel that your VMware Cloud would have. Right. So ostensibly, we're having the VMware Cloud extend to your physical premises. So it's pretty excellent. It's a really interesting concept.
Yeah, with that flexibility, seems like it could be really useful in a lot of situations.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's again, our approach to VMC was to extend your current skill set from the data center to the cloud skill set. So ubiquitous look and feel.
Right.
Now what we're doing is taking that and harnessing that power of that same automated infrastructure and just pulling it back into where it's more meaningful, across many different geos. So huge value add there. Interesting to see that there was one of the announcements. I didn't know if that was going to be ready to come out yet or not. So it was really fun to see that released. So that's one of the big things. We see a lot of edge presence. We're having a lot of over the years you see started out with mainframe and dumb terminals. So we have large processing in one area, and then smaller connected cables to just ostensibly a monitor and input, right?
Right.
And then you break that out and you say, individual servers, and maybe someone has a desktop in front of them. Now we virtualize desktop, put it back in the data center. No, take it out of the data center, put it at the branch. No, put it back put it in the cloud. And it's really interesting to see how we can kind of take these concepts and really be flexible and locate services wherever they need to be. So that to me is really a big strong suit of what Project Dimension is going to deliver. So I'm really excited to see that.
So you mentioned Edge, and with Edge, I think the announcement of vSphere on ARM processors kind of plays into that a little bit as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And I know, correct me if I'm wrong, but you and I have had discussions in the past about, you've talked about Internet of Things and automation. Do you see that playing a big role into some of this then?
Absolutely. So pardon the family of Dell pun, but it's pivotal. It is absolutely nailed it. But it's not Pivotal Labs. It is it's key to our approach to Internet of Things. So for those of you that don't know IoT, Internet of Things is basically just using small sensors that are networked to gather data and turn it into meaningful information wherever that may lie. Now the challenge there is that not all the time do we need data to be aggregated and churned in some sort of centralized aggregate point.
Right.
Sometimes we need localized transforms, a la at the edge, right? Exactly where those sensors are. So let's say I've got a refrigerator that I need to make sure that temperature is always the same. And this is we have other devices to do this, but this is, go with it. It's hypothetical. So let's say I have a monitoring system that monitors, all of these things locally. Well, I want to be able to alert out on any sort of derivation of threshold locally. I don't want to have to send this data all the way back to my data center, incur however many milliseconds of latency and round trip time, and to understand that, well, once the data is churned through at the data center and I've actually done my transforms and turned it into, well, these thresholds have been exceeded. Well, how long did that take?
Right.
My food's spoiled. So I could very easily do that locally and figure out what data do I need instantly. And ARM processing and virtualization on ARM actually helps provide that availability that's required. Through VMware's vSphere HA and DRS, et cetera, all of our our localized services there for infrastructure, and then being able to have that processing locally on ARM, making it a much more cost-effective solution at the edge. So you don't have to deploy enterprise server-grade solutions to make this a reality, right? So another thing too to plug into it, so you have that edge compute capability, and you can tie into things like function as a service with Greengrass and AWS. Huge transformative play there, and then you can make that highly available. So you've got, kind of a 1-2 punch. I think it's great.
So we had a couple more vSphere announcements outside of vSphere on ARM, including a new edition, if you will, vSphere Platinum, and vSphere 671. Just real quick talking points. What are the updates with those?
So vSphere Platinum is the newest in a long line of excellent products that we have focused on security. So it's really just the packaging of vSphere Core with App Defense, and it's a tighter integration as well with vCenter and that vSphere packaging, so that you can have the accessibility of what App Defense provides in this environmental known good state monitoring, so that if there's any derivation of workload or any trend that has been kind of exceeded, then App Defense can alert quickly, but also that tighter integration with that package itself allows it to be more quickly operationalized and more easily adopted by operational tasks.
And I know the only feature I'm aware of, because I've been just running around, I gave a vBrownBag Tech Talk, I participated in a few different things here at VMworld. The one big feature I heard was 6.7.1 is full-featured HTML5 web browser.
Yeah, so that has been a long time coming. We are so happy for that.
I'm in the minority. I have no problem with the Flash, the Flash client or the Flash browser. I've been a proponent. I'm like, you know what? Use it. It's fine. It's stable. Yeah, you'll get a bug or two here or there. I mean, I think it also has to do with how well maintained your environment is.
Sure.
But if your Flash starts acting up. But I mean, I don't know. I've been using Flash quite a bit, but I know a lot of people I work with, and I speak to quite often with project work. They are super excited to get full-featured HTML5.
Absolutely.
And when I heard a rumor of a little bit ago that it was going to be on the next major release, so I was kind of assuming 7.0 that it was coming, but 6.7.1 at VMworld, I'll take that for sure.
Absolutely. And the reason really is that there's nothing wrong with the Flash client, but there have been so many more features that our customers were looking forward to with the Flash client. It's a reason of scale or understanding, new ways of consuming and or inputting data, and really having the parity between our traditional clients and the new HTML5, which is, it's faster, right?
Yeah.
It is just point blank. It is a faster client because it's more lightweight, right? HTML5 versus Flash, it's kind of a no-brainer. So we really have been looking forward to having parity in that, not only in the community, but VMware itself, right? All of us have been very excited about it. And also, part of that is just tying back into the Clarity UI, having the same look and feel for all of our interfaces, and having kind of across the board, you log into this one site and that's VMware. This is our product. This is what we're looking into, and we can kind of move through the environments a little more seamlessly, a little more familiar. So
Right.
yeah, it's a great release. Incremental, right? So, but again, great incremental release. I was thinking 7.0 myself as well, so that's pretty cool.
That's a very pleasant surprise.
Mm-hmm.
So with our last minute or so here, is there anything else coming up this week that you're excited for? Obviously, we don't know the announcements. Is there events, or what about, have you seen anything on the partner side that's really caught your eye?
So with respect to events, I'm always looking forward to the VMworld party, right? VMworld parties are always a really good time. Part and parcel of the event is really just networking and meeting with fine folks like yourself, always. And honestly, to name anything in specific that our partners are doing, I mean, having been in the partner space myself, and you currently being partner space as well, it's our partners are so varied and yet so highly expert at what they do, that it's hard to say that there's one thing they're really good at. It's one thing they're really good at is partnering with VMware and delivering. They're excellent at results, and I do say that we lean on them quite heavily. Yeah. So it's having been in that space as well myself, I'm like, yeah, we've solved a lot of problems on the partner space for customers. So glad to have that around. Glad to have partners like yourself and many others. The one session that I am looking forward to this week, among many, is Katerina Wagnerova and Mark Brookfield's session on their trip at actually delivering data center services at sea. So it's Hobbit Cloud at sea, and they take the audience through their entire experience of what it takes to run services on a boat. For months, and it's eye-opening. It's absolutely brilliant, and they had some really unique challenges. They're talking about let's take a backup. Okay, I have a backup. What do I do with it? Well, it's over water. It's
still on your boat.
Yeah. So how do I take that backup off site when my site is a ship?
Right.
So things like that, where it's just we have to turn our head sideways and look at it differently, and I love that. I love the creativity and ingenuity that they really express in that. So that's going to be a great session. Of course, Sean Massey's got a session tomorrow as well. His EUC insights are always tantamount to none, right?
Right. Yeah, he really I'd say he excels in that field for sure.
Absolutely.
One of the top experts I've seen for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, we won't let him hear this, but...
No, it's edited out entirely.
We'll edit that part.
I'm trying to think of other sessions right now that, there's plenty that I'm looking forward to. So basically those are a handful that I can think of. I don't know, what other things are you looking towards, Paul? I'm trying to...
So for me, I'm just... For me, I'm just kind of looking to see, again, the announcements from VMware, the crux of my day-to-day job, and see what's coming, what's new. Sure. I spent a lot of time walking around with the vendors, seeing what they're up to as well. I'm giving a breakout session, my very first VMworld breakout session tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So that's kind of been on the back of my mind all week. I'm going to do, after we wrap up this recording, I'm going to do a couple of test runs through it here by myself in the hotel room, or studio, fine studio
audience.
Yeah, just to make sure I'm ready to go. But it's a session that I've given at VMworld or VMUG meetings numerous times, so it's one I know. It's one that I'm comfortable with.
What is the name of that session?
See, I always get it wrong based on what I typed, but it is.
You did make it up, so that's fair.
Yeah, troubleshooting and assessing the health of your VMware environment or virtualized environment with free tools.
Excellent.
So it's got some tools provided by VMware. It's got some tools that were created by community members. A lot of really useful information. I've had a lot of people comment on it, so I'm excited to present it here at VMworld.
Yeah, definitely. Another session to look forward to.
Indeed. So I want to thank you once again for your time. Where can folks find you online?
So I am on Twitter. I'm VMikeB, B as in boy, or Burkhart. Also, vmikeb.com is my blog. Otherwise, finding me online, I'm mostly Twitter and blogging. So Otherwise, yeah, again, I avid V community member. You can also find me at the Detroit VMUG meetings. So if you're ever in the Detroit area and find our VMUG, stop by, say hey, and more than welcome to hang out, have a couple drinks, and talk shop. Always love meeting new people.
Excellent, thank you. And for the listeners, anytime you want to join the conversation, if you want to be a guest on the podcast, reach out to me on Twitter at ExploreVM. Email me, paul@explorevm.com. There's a ExploreVM Facebook page. Many, many ways to find me. So please reach out. Let's connect. Let's talk. Let's keep the conversation about VMworld 2018 or whatever you might want to talk about. Thank you for listening.